Hey everybody, Allie here from iAutomate, and today I'm going to walk you through a manager's account within MODUS8. So at this point, someone in your company, either the owner or a higher up, has added MODUS8 as a tool that you are all going to use to get your work done. So within the owner's account, they can add two different kinds of users. They can add a worker, which if you're added as a worker, you can log into MODUS8 and you can complete the tasks that you've been assigned to within projects. And that's pretty much it within a worker account. But with a manager account, within your account, you can not only complete work, but you can also review work that has either been outsourced to a task specialist or that has been completed by someone else within your company. You can also create formulas and start projects. Now, it doesn't have all the features as an owner account, like adding credits to the account or being able to delete formulas, but it still has way more than just a worker account. So when you're added as a manager, you're going to get an email that looks very much like this, and you're going to want to click login for the first time. Okay, so this big purple button right here in the middle. And when you do that, it's going to take you to a page that looks very similar to this one. But instead of it being a traditional login page, it's going to prompt you to create a password, and then it's going to ask you to confirm that password. And then from here on out, whenever you want to log into MODUS8, you just go to the web bar and you type in gomodus8.com/login, just like it is up here. And we've already set up this account. So as you can see, you put the email in and your password. And to make it easier on you, you can just click this little button here to say remember me, so you don't have to do this every time you want to log in. But we're going to go ahead and log in now, and I'm going to show you everything within a manager's account. So every time you log in, you're going to see this screen first. This is your home screen, and we'll go over what all of this means in just a minute. But let's just do a quick overview of what we're looking at up here on the sidebar and up at the top bar. Over here on the top right is your name, and when you click on it, you can select your profile, which in here you can edit your full name or your email or your time zone. If you click on your name again, you can also sign out in this section as well, okay? So let's just go back home so we can see this screen right here. And on this left side is our menu bar. So the home screen is the top option, and that is this. And then you have the option of formulas. So if we click on that, that takes you to your formulas. See, it says My Formulas. Now, at this point, hopefully you know what a formula is, but if you're not quite sure what it is, a formula is a set of tasks that are added together in a sequence that help you complete a larger task. So what it does is it takes larger things that you're doing and breaks them down step by step so that anybody could do this if you just kind of passed it along to them. So these right here are what are in my formula vault. Okay, so we can see we have a handful of formulas within this account. Now, you can also add formulas from the formula vault, and this is the master formula vault. So this is where any formulas that Matt Versteeg has created are living, and then if anybody else within MODUS8 creates a formula and then decides they want to share it with you, they can add it to the master formula vault, and it will be in here. So as you can see, there's the name of the formula, and then owner, date it's created, and then over here you have a bunch of add now buttons. And as we scroll, you can see the list gets longer and longer. And as you can see also, some of these are already in my account, and you can tell that they're in your account if they have kind of a grayed out added section over here to the right. If they're not in your account, they have this purple button with the white letters that says add now. So there are two different ways you can add formulas. You can either go through and select them individually and add now, so that one's now in my account, or you can go over here to the left and select multiple at a time and hit add to my formula vault. Now, in order to use the formulas within your projects, they need to be in your formula vault, okay? If they're just in the master formula vault and they're not in your account, you can't use them. So the way to know, again, is if it says added, that you know it's in your account. If it says add now, it's not quite there yet. So the way to get back to your personal formula vault, you use this purple button here and you go to your account. All right. Within this, you can also create your own formulas, which we will go over in a little bit. We're not going to dive into it quite yet, but I just want to show you if you were to create your own formula where you have something that you do in work every single day, it's the same steps, excuse me, time and time again. It's super easy to create a formula, and we'll go over that in a little bit. So let's just keep going down. This project tab is going to be next in the menu bar. Now this is where you can take formulas and either just use one formula, or you can use multiple formulas and you can create a project. So this is the screen that houses all of my projects. So I have 2 different projects in here that I've either created or been assigned to. So I have the manager walkthrough project, which is what we're working on now, or I have the worker orientation walkthrough. So if you want to look at a specific project, you have to click into it. So this is what your project board looks like. And we will come back to this in just a minute as well, because I just want to show you the other few things within projects and on this menu bar over here. So you can have 1 project, you can have 2 projects, you can have 20 projects, but right now we're only assigned to 2, so that's why you're only seeing 2. All right, so let's keep going down this list here. So here we have the users. So like I said, this account is a little different from the worker account because it has more than just your home button and your projects button. If you're a worker, those are the only 2 things you can see. But when you're a manager, you also, like I said, have the ability to create formulas, to create projects, and then you also are available to add users. So say you're managing a team, you can add people into your account that are on your team through this section. All right. It's super easy. You just hit add user once you fill in the full name and the email address. And then you can also add it over here. Like I was saying, there's 2 different user types within MODUS8, the worker type or the manager type. So once you fill in their information and hit add user, they'll be joined to your entire team down here. All right, so you can see in our account, I'm scheduled as a manager. And then we have 2 other people in here scheduled as workers, okay? So I'm going to go down to the next tab. This is the skills tab. Now this is the skills tab. This tab might be a little confusing at first, but what this is within the formulas, each formula has a specific set of tasks, and each task can have a certain skill that the person needs in order to do that task. Now, you can assign people within your team to certain skills so that when you add your formula into a project, which you'll see in a later video, how to then assign specific people in your team to certain tasks within that project. Okay, so that's what this is. So say you're creating, you work for a social media marketing team and you need to add a skill that includes Facebook posting. Okay, so you would go here and you do Facebook posting, and then you can add the different users within your account who have those skills. Okay, so then later, when you add this skill to a specific task, you know who on your team has that skill. Okay, and then last on this menu bar is the clients screen. Okay, this is anybody, if you have clients, this is where you can add them. Okay, it's very self-explanatory. When you add the client, it shows the company name, the person who you specifically speak to, their address, the date that the file was created, and the date that it was last updated. So now that you have kind of an overview of the menu bar, let's go back to the home screen and we'll kind of take a little bit more time to look through what we have here. So your home screen lists all of your tasks that you've been assigned to or that you've assigned yourself that need to be done. Okay, and they're put into 3 different categories on this home page. It's put into tasks to outsource. Okay, so these are tasks that you've put in a project that you've selected that you need to outsource. And so if you have any, which we don't at this time, that are ready to be done, this is where they'll show up to remind you, hey, this task is ready to happen. Now you just need to assign it to one of our task specialists. Okay. Now down here is tasks to review. And we do actually have one task in our review column. Now, a task that's in this column is one that was either done by an outsourced task specialist or someone on your team, and you need to go in and review what they've done to make sure they've done it correctly. All right, so we'll show you how to review a task here when we go into our projects board. And then the last section in this home screen is our tasks to do. So these are the specific tasks that have been assigned to you that you need to complete. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Tasks up here that are ready to be done that you would like to outsource, okay, or that have the ability to be outsourced. Tasks to review, these are the tasks that have already been done by someone else, whether it was someone else on your team or a task specialist, that you need to now go in and check, because sometimes other tasks rely on these tasks to be completed to start. And specifically with task specialists, they do not get their credits that you paid for them to do it until you complete this review. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's take a deeper look into each of these things. Oh, sorry about that. Didn't mean to right click on my mouse there. So let's go ahead. Let's go into projects. And now we're actually going to walk through how you do work within your account. So we'll go to the project screen and let's click on Manager Walkthrough Project. So on this, it opens up the project board. Now, what you'll see here is you'll see the title of the project here. And then you'll also see 4 columns. You're going to see upcoming tasks, which is pretty self-explanatory. They're the tasks that you need to do that are upcoming, but either the time for them to start hasn't come up yet, or you haven't completed something in this column yet that relies on you to finish before this one can start, okay? So then that takes us to this column, the to-do column. So it looks like we have 6 total tasks within this project that we have been assigned to, and 4 of them can be done right now, all right? This third column is the needs review column. This is what I was talking about before. If there's a task within your project that has been done by somebody else that you need to review in order for it to be complete, this is where you'll find them. And we will show you an example of that after we go through this project. And then over here is your completed column. So when you're doing a task and you're done with it, you just take it and you drag it into the completed column and it'll stay right there. So you know what you've done, so you don't need to question, what's been done and what hasn't been done. So how do we actually do work? That is a great question. And as soon as we go through it, I'm telling you, it's going to be so easy. You're going to like this so much. So let's go ahead and dive in. So what we're going to do is this project is to walk you through the different kinds of tasks that can be in a formula. So there are 4 different kinds of tasks that you'll see that can pop up. And you can tell what kind of tasks they are by one, looking at the little icon down here. That will show you what kind of task you're working with, okay? So this is a conditional task. So that means that you need to do this task, and then depending on what the answer is to the question within the task, your next direction will be determined by your answer. Okay, so if you say yes, then the formula will take you in one direction. If you say no to this question, the formula will take you in another direction. All right, this right here is a one-time task. So a one-time task is exactly what it sounds like. It's a task that you only need to do once within this formula, and as soon as you drag it into completed, that's it, you're done. That simple. Okay, now this is a conditional task. This is the follow-up to this conditional task right here, okay? And then down here, this last one you're seeing is a reoccurring task. All right, so you can tell by the icon that looks like kind of a recycling circle. So that means that it happens after a set amount of time, whatever time that was set in the formula. So now how do we actually complete these tasks in the to-do column? Well, let's go ahead and let's start with this one-time task first. So in order to see what is included in the task, you can click on the task name at the top, and it opens up the screen that shows you task details. And there's a handful of tabs here at the top that we'll just go through so you understand whenever you open a task, you're going to see these tabs at the top. And with a conditional task and with a recurring task, you might have an additional tab or two at the top, and we'll review it if we see it, okay? So it starts with every task details page, okay? And it has the task name at the top and then the description here. The description is where the step-by-step items are that you need to do in order for this task to be completed to its fullest, okay? So whoever created the formula, they will have the step-by-step items right in here for you. Very easy to understand. Right, this tab right here is the schedule tab. So this is when the task has been scheduled, how long it should take for you to complete the task, and then an estimated due date. All right. Skill. This is what I was talking about before when we were going down the left side menu bar. This is the section that will say who has the skills to work on this task. So I've been assigned to work on this task. And then down here it says users who will review this task. This task doesn't need to be reviewed, so there's no name underneath this section. The files section, this is where the owner of the formula can add files that you need in order to complete this specific task. And you can also add files here. So if the formula in this task requires you to add files, this is where you can put them and they'll save right in here, okay? For either the next person to see them or your owner to review it, but this is where you can put them. This is very similar to the Files tab, but this holds links. So say this task had a video link to show you exactly how to do this task. This is where it would live. And again, if you need to add a link, say you're working for a social media company and you need to add the link on where you need the person to post, or you need to show that you've posted something so you can share the link right here. This is the comment section. So this is where I can write a comment and my owner can check the comment and see if I have any feedback about what's going on. Or say I have a worker that's working for me and they have a question about this task, they can put a comment in, put post, and I'll be notified that our worker has added a comment to a task card. And so I'll be able to go in, read the comment, and reply. Okay, so this is a great section if you're doing a lot of outsourcing to our task specialist and you want to communicate with them. This is a great section to use, okay? And this is the last section. This is called the outsource section. So this is where if there is a task specialist in our system that can do this skill, that can do this task, this is where the names will live of all of the task specialists who can complete this. Now, this task does not have any outsourcers who can do this. So that's why you're not seeing anybody in here. But we can show you an example later of a task that does have an outsourcer who can do this for you. Okay, so that's a description of a one-time task and what you're going to see. So how do we actually do this work? How do we complete it? So you'll see that each of these cards within the to-do column has a play button. Okay, so that's pretty much, that's your start button. If you hover over, it says start the task. So we're going to go ahead and indicate that we've started this task. As you can see, it has changed to have two arrows pointing to the right, and that's showing that I'm doing this. So now I'm done. I've completed everything. I've described what a one-time task is. I've walked you through it all. So now I'm going to say we're done with that. So I just take it, drag it into completed, and let it go. And it's that easy, okay? Now you have a little check mark so you can see that it's done. We've completed it. That's great. So let's show you a task that needs to be reviewed. So we'll show you what happens when you have a task that needs to be reviewed. Now, I don't know if you saw that, but this task just jumped over from the upcoming into the to-do column. And the reason it did that at this time was because this task and this task were connected. So if you have one task that connects to another task that could connect to another task, that means that they're attached. So you can't move on to the next one until you've completed the one before it. So this is a good example. I'm going to show you what I mean. So this is upcoming. Say that, I want to do this task now. I'm going to try to pull it over into to do. See what it says? It says can't change task status. So this will stay in this column until we do the item before it that will allow it to pop over. Okay. So let's do this one next, the one that popped over. So this is a one-time task that needs review. All right, so if we open it, it has the same columns at the top that the other task did. Okay, and again, we don't have any task specialists in here that can do that, so you're not going to see any. And so I'm going to start it. See, it says I'm doing it. And now see what's going to happen. So if you are working on a task that needs to be reviewed before it's completely finished, considered finished, you're going to take the task and you're going to put it in completed. And watch what's going to happen to it. See, it didn't even stay in completed. It popped into the needs review section. So that's what's going to happen. And now you might be assigned as a manager to review other people's work. So let's show you an example of that. So right now I need one of my managers to come in and actually approve this so we can have that done as completed. So let's go into projects and I'm going to show you a review that you need to review. And remember, on this home screen, it showed us we had one task that we needed to review. All right, see that there? So we can go into projects, worker orientation. And now in order to review this task for it to be considered completed, okay, so we need to hit the play button again, just like if we were starting a task. So let's hit the play button, let's hit start. And so see how it says little magnifying glass with the eye, that's cute. It's showing that I'm reviewing this task. Okay, so now that I've reviewed it, I can now take it and just like the other tasks, move it into completed. So now that task is officially considered done. Okay, so what happened was the worker did all of their work. They did all of the steps within the task that they could complete. They put it into completed saying they were done with it, and then it popped back into the needs review so that we could check it out. So we checked it out. They did everything they needed to complete. They did a great job, and now it's in the completed section. So that's how you review a task. All right, let's go back into projects and finish walking through our project. Let's finish doing our work. Okay, so the next thing that is a type of task that you'll see is the conditional task. So let's go ahead and start that task, and I'm going to show you what happens within this one. Okay, we're going to open it up, and I'm going to show you the different things at the top that you won't see in a one-time task. You're not going to see conditions in a one-time task. This is where the conditions are, okay? So when you start the task and when you move it into completed, the condition is going to be, were the bathrooms cleaned this morning? And you can either have the answer yes or the answer no, okay? So we're just gonna save that. And I'm gonna show you what I mean. So we've started this task. We're gonna move it into completed. And now, because it's a conditional task, when I let go of this, a little screen is going to pop up. And depending on my answer, if it's a yes answer or no answer, that will determine the next step that I have to take in the project. Were the bathrooms cleaned this morning? Yes, they were. I checked. Someone cleaned the bathrooms. Great. Okay, so because we clicked yes, now that task just popped into this column because now we can do that task. Excuse me. Now, this is the last task we're going to go over, the last type of task. This is a reoccurring task. Now let's open the task description and I'm going to show you what's different about this task. This one has a recurrence. Instead of it saying schedule, it says recurrence. So let's click on that and I'll show you how that's different from a one-time task. So this asks you, when should the task recur? So this says that it should happen every 7 minutes, but you can set it to happen every certain minutes, every hour, daily, weekly, monthly, every year. This is a good reminder if you want to remind yourself about birthdays. This is a good way to do that, okay? Now, we want this to reoccur, okay? This happens every 3, or this only takes about 3 minutes. So say this was, say happy birthday to your colleague. We would set that for every year, and we'd put the date of when we want it to recur. And then it says it should only take about 3 minutes for us to say happy birthday to our colleague. And then do we want this to ever stop coming up in our reminders? No, we don't ever want this to stop, okay? We want this to continue to recur. All right, we have a few other options here in the recurrence type as well, which we can't change because we didn't do the formula. So they have it set as never stopping, but you can have it stop after a certain amount of times. So say you want this task to recur every 7 minutes, and it should take about 3 minutes for you to do, and you only want this to happen 4 times. You can indicate that you only want this to repeat 4 times, and then after the 4th time, it's done. It's completed. You don't do this task again. You can also schedule this to end on a specific date. So if you schedule this to end 2 weeks from now, it will continue to repeat every 7 minutes for the next week, okay? So that's what's different in this task, is that there is the reoccurrence tab instead of the schedule tab. So we're going to hit that we're doing this task. So we're going to hit start, and then we're going to put this into recurring task description, into completed, and it's done. Okay, so see how this popped back into upcoming? That's because it's the recurring task. So it's now reminding us that we have to do it again. That's how that works. All right. So this is your project. That's how you work through your tasks. You hit the start button, and then as soon as it starts, you pull it over to completed, and you're good to go. Okay? It is that easy to finish your tasks. Just start, open, read what you have to do. You can add your links, you can add your files, and then when you're done, you just put it in the completed column. That easy, okay? So that's a good description of what you can do within your account in terms of doing work or reviewing work, okay? In order to dive deeper into your account, we're going to need to watch the next video, which is about creating formulas, okay? And then that will lead into how to add the formulas into a project. All right, guys, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll chat soon.